Good evening, all of you. In the last session, we started our discussion related to IAM. IAM stands for Identity and Access Management. IAM stands for Identity and Access Management. IAM is used to provide the access for AWS resources for the users. Using IAM is used to control access permissions for users on AWS resources. IAM is used to control access permissions for users on AWS resources. When we create account in AWS, by default, our account will become root account. Is it recommended to use root account for all the activities, or it is not recommended to use root account for all the activities? Guys, tell me. When we set up account in AWS, we will get root account. When we create account in AWS, then it will become root account. It will become root account. Root account will have all the permissions on AWS. Root account will have access for all the services in AWS. Root account will have access for all the services in AWS. It is not recommended to use root account for your regular work. It is not recommended to use root account for our regular activities in AWS. It is not recommended to use root account for our regular activities in AWS. That's where IAM came into picture. You don't use the root account, use the root account. By using root account, we can create IAM user accounts. Using root account, we can create IAM users, and we can provide access for AWS services which are required for them. Now, I have a DBA team. For DBA team, I will give only DB services access. I have a sales team, I will give only billing service access. I have a deployment team, I will give only EC2 service access. I have a storage team, I will give only S3 buckets access. Like this, we can control access permissions of our AWS by using IAM accounts. Okay, first, yesterday we created IAM accounts and we are able to log in into the IAM accounts, and we are able to see how the permissions provided for them and how they are able to access the services which they have. If the IAM user don't have a access for a service, can he access that? Can IAM user access all the services, or IAM user can access the services which we have provided for him? Only those services he can access. Always keep root account securely. Always keep your root account securely. Always keep your root account securely. Now, to provide additional security for the root account, we can use multi-factor authentication. To provide additional security for root account, we can set up MFA. MFA stands for multi-factor authentication. MFA stands for multi-factor authentication. What is the meaning of that? Currently, guys, now How I am logged, how we are able to log in into our root accounts with only email ID and password? Yes or no? We are logging into our root accounts by using email ID. I'm logging in now. I'm using password M3BXN8. Yes, I'm using my captcha. I'm giving submit, and my password I'm going to enter. Password I'm going to enter. Then, if we know email ID and password, can we log in into root accounts into our AWS? With the email ID and password, can we access root accounts, guys? Come on, tell me. Unmute your mics and speak out. How you are able to log in into root account in AWS?
Using email ID and password.
We are using only email ID and password. Now, for example, you have stored your email ID and password on a paper. If somebody see that paper, can they use your credentials to log in or not?
Yes.
Can they use your credentials or not?
Yes.
If somebody used your credentials, and logged in into your account, then what is the problem for you? If somebody log in into your root account, then what is the problem for you? They may use the services. If they forgot to stop the services, billing will be generated for you. Your friend, you are staying in a room, you created a root account in the AWS, you have stored your credentials on your phone, or you have stored your credentials on a paper. Your roommate has seen that paper, he has taken your credentials, he logged in into the AWS, he started a few services in the AWS, he forgot to stop them. Then your friend will pay the bill, or you have to pay the bill? Who will pay the bill, man? You have to pay the bill, or your friends will pay the bill? Unmute your mic. Tell me.
We have to pay.
So there is a problem or not? Problem is there or problem is not there?
Problem.
Problem is there. So we are creating an account in the AWS. We are creating an account in the AWS. When I create an account in the AWS, by default, that account is creating as a root account. Root account will have all the permissions in the AWS. You can use any service in the AWS. There are 200 plus services are available in the AWS. You can use any service in the AWS by using root account. Based on your usage, the billing will be generated. There are 200 plus services available in the AWS. You can use any service in the AWS by using your root account. You will have the permissions for all the services in the root account. Okay. Now we are logged in into, we are using email ID and password to log in into our root account. By mistake, if somebody see our email ID and password, they can log in into our root account and they can create the services, that billing will be generated for us. Now to provide additional security for the root account, we can set up multi-factor authentication. What we can do, guys, to set up the additional security for the root account? We can set up multi-factor authentication for the root account. Now see, how can we set up this multi-factor authentication for the root accounts? Now click on sign in. Wow. Guys, if I give my username and password, can you log in into my account? If I give my username and password for you, now can you log in into my root account? See here, I will give you my email ID and password. Is it sufficient to log in into my root account with email ID and password? Observe carefully. This is the email ID of my root account. Click on next. Click on next. Now enter this captcha. TQFBCQ. Submit. Incorrect captcha. Now MG8D3N. Submit. Captcha is correct. Now earlier, when I enter the password, it will allow me to log in into AWS. Now observe, if I click on sign in, what it is asking? What it is asking, guys, is am I able to log in into the account directly, or it is asking one extra code? Am I able to log in, or it is asking extra code?
Extra code.
What is the extra code it is asking now?
or multi.
Yes.
MFA code. What is that MFA code? Multi-factor authentication code. Now that multi-factor authentication code I configured in my mobile. Now for my mobile, in my mobile, I have an application. In that application, this code is generated, guys. 740432. Click on submit. Click on submit. If I enter the code correctly, then I'm able to log in. That code is valid for only 30 seconds, guys. Whatever the MFA code I have generated, that is valid only for 30 seconds. Now, see here, I will sign out again. Go to log back in. I want to log in into my AWS account. Can I use the same MFA code, or it will generate a new MFA code?
New generate.
Where that MFA code is generating? In my mobile. In my mobile, in the Google Authenticator, we can configure that. In the Google Authenticator, we can configure that. DGX, ZM8, ZM8GDX, 8DGX, ZM8GDX, submit. Password. I'm entering my password. Click on sign in. What it is asking now? Again, it is asking my authentication code. That is MFA code. That is called multi-factor authentication. This time my code is different. Last time it started with 7. Now it is 856145. This is the code. Click on submit. Now my MFA code is success. MFA authentication is success. So this is called as multi-factor authentication. For which accounts you will set up this multi-factor authentication? For every account or only for root accounts?
Root accounts.
For root accounts. Why we are setting up this multi-factor authentication?
For more security reasons.
And more security.
For more security reasons. Now can we see how to set up multi-factor authentication for the root accounts now? Can you guys set up that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Go to IAM. Go to IAM. Guys, you also log in into your root account. You can set up now only. Do it immediately. Log in into your IAM accounts. All of you. Log in into your IAM accounts. Sorry, not log in into your root accounts, not IAM. Log in into your root account. 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 Guys, tell me, are you able to log in? Once you log in, go to IAM service. Go to IAM service.
Yes, sir.
In the IAM service, can you see in the dashboard? The dashboard, you have the option set up multi-factor authentication. Can you see the option set up multi-factor authentication?
Yes.
MFA. Are you able to see the MFA? Multi-factor authentication, guys.
Add MFA.
Add MFA. It is already added for my root account. Guys, are you able to see add multi-factor authentication?
Yes, sir.
Now, can you click on that add button?
Yes, sir.
What are the options it is displaying for you?
Activate MFA.
Activate MFA virtually or device? You click on virtual MFA. You click on virtual MFA. That option is not coming for me. Root user has MFA, security recommendations, user groups, user routes, IAM permissions. Root user having MFA.
Virtual device and
Yeah. Now, guys, it is asking MFA with a virtual device. Physical device we can use, virtual device we can use. Have you seen a movie called Nanak Premato in Telugu?
yes, sir.
Whenever he is transferring the money from the bank account, he will get a token to one small device or not.
Yes.
That is called physical device. But here we don't have those physical devices. We are going for virtual devices. So guys, can anybody share your screen, guys? Who is speaking? Can you share your screen? I will tell you how to set up that. Who is that? Sunil Shetty?
Yes, sir.
Can you share your screen?
Yes.
Yeah, share your screen. I will show you how to set up MFA for your root account. It is already done for my account. I will tell you for your account. Share your screen in the Zoom.
Yes.
Guys, see here, he is having a option called MFA. He is having option called MFA. Now, multi-factor authentication. Use MFA to increase the security of your AWS environment. Signing into MFA protected accounts requires a username, password, and authentication code from an MFA device. Generally, we are having root accounts now. Generally, we have root account. To log in into our root account, we are using username and password. Along with this, I want to set up one authentication code also to log in. Now click on activate MFA. Click on activate MFA now. Guys, wait up. Here, if you see how you want to set up that multi-factor authentication for your root account, virtual MFA device, authenticator app installed on your mobile device or computer. We can use one mobile app to set up this MFA codes. Other hardware MFA devices, Gemalto token now. We don't have that physical device, so we will go with virtual device. Can you select a virtual MFA device and click on continue? Guys, select that virtual device, virtual MFA device, click on continue. Continue. Now, it is going to generate one QR code. Click on show QR code. Show QR code. Yes, guys, now you have a QR code. Now go to your mobile. Guys, all of you, go to your mobile and download Google Authenticator app. Sunil, go to your mobile, download Google Authenticator app.
Yes.
Google Authenticator app you have to download in your mobile. Google Authenticator app you have to download. Once the Google Authenticator app is downloaded,
We have to scan.
we have to scan. Whenever you scan, it will generate a code for you. 6-digit code will be generated. 2 codes you have to enter here. MFA code 1, MFA code 2. First it will generate after scanning. First it will generate one code. You enter that code and you hold, wait, it will generate one more code. Then enter 2 codes. Consecutive codes you have to enter. It is asking 3 type 2 consecutive MFA codes below. Scroll down. Scroll down. Yeah. Are you able to download that Authenticator app in the Google?
Yes, sir.
Are you able to scan that QR code?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Is it generated a code for you?
Yes, sir.
Enter that code. Enter that code.
Yes,
First
sir.
code. Yeah. Now you wait. Then one more code will be generated, sir.
Yes.
Once that second code is generated, first code will expire, second code will generate. You enter that second code here.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Now click on assign MFA. Perfect. Close. Close. Now your MFA authentication setup is done using Google Authenticator. Here you have a manage option. Can you click on manage option? If you want to remove that authentication, you can remove from here. Okay. You understand? If you want to remove,
Yes.
you can remove from here. Now click on cancel. Click on cancel. There. Now sign out from your account. Sign out from your account. Now try to log in into your account.
Yes, sir.
Log in. Root account. Yeah. Next. Enter CAPTCHA. Enter the password. What happened?
Sir, MFA code.
It is asking earlier.
No,
When you
sir.
enter, when you enter the password directly, you are able to log in. Now, MFA code. Where is that MFA code generated? In the Google Authenticator app.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now enter the code which is generated there.
Yes, sir. Enter.
Click on submit. Yes. Now you are able to log in. So your root account is secured with MFA or not?
Yes, sir.
If you want to remove that MFA authentication, what to do?
Manager.
Go to IAM. Go to IAM. Now root user having MFA.
Yes, sir.
Now you want to remove that MFA. How can you remove the MFA from here? There is option quick links. My security credentials available now. Quick links.
Yeah.
Quick links. No, not that. This side. Right side. Right side. My quick links available. Dekho. My security credentials. Now here, do you have MFA option?
Yes, sir.
So now can you click on manage? You can remove that or not?
Yes, sir.
Don't need to remove. You can keep that security. Okay?
Okay.
If you want, you can remove that. Good. Guys, all of you able to set up MFA for your root accounts?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Very good. So can anyone tell me what is the purpose of this MFA?
Sir, actually, after click on the remove part is not showing me to remove actually this. My security credential, I'm clicking, but I'm not able to see the manage screen.
Whatever are you able to see in the Sunil screen, you are not able to see that screen. Huh?
Yes, sir. I'm not able to see.
एक बार आपका स्क्रीन शेयर करो.
Okay, sir. So please give access, sir.
Share your screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you click on my security credentials?
Yeah, here, sir.
Yeah, click on that MFA tab.
This one, sir.
Huh.
Oh, okay, sir. Here is the. Okay, sir. Got it.
Huh.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Right. Guys, all of you done with MFA now?
Yes, sir.
Very good. So here we have the option called My Security Credentials. When you go to My Security Credentials, here we have a MFA tab. When you click on Manage, if you want, you can remove. Okay? Then MFA code will not be asking for you. Got it? So if you want to provide additional security for your root accounts, then you need to go with this MFA authentication. MFA authentication, nothing but multi-factor authentication, because root accounts are very, very, very important accounts because they will have complete access on the AWS resources. If somebody know our email ID and password, they can misuse our root account. That's why AWS provided this multi-factor authentication concept for our root accounts. All right. Now, in yesterday's session, we created IAM users. So, can anyone tell me how to create a IAM user and why we are creating IAM users? Can anyone tell me why we are creating IAM users and how to create IAM user?
Or to give the particular permissions for the user. For suppose you need to access only S3, so to
Yes,
create the
yes,
IAM user, we will
yes.
have the policies for the user.
Right. What is the meaning of a policy? What is the meaning of policy in the IAM?
It is like a rules.
It
that
is like a
person-
rules what that user can access. We are defining as a policy,
Yes.
right? IAM nothing but identity and access management. We are going to create users. That means if we have database team, then create the database team members accounts as IAM accounts, then provide only database related service access for them. Now, can you tell me how to create a user now? Can you tell me how to create a user now? Click on add user. Click on add user, username. I'm creating as some, assume that Naveen. Naveen is the username. Okay. Now I am giving this permission for that user as a password. Password authentication I'm providing for that user. Password authentication I'm providing for that user. Custom password I'm giving for that user. Custom password I'm giving for that user. Required password reset. What is the meaning of required password reset? When he log in, immediately he has to change his password. Next permission. Guys, here we need to understand few details. Now here we have set permissions. We have three options. We have three options. Can anyone read out what are the three options available here? What are the three options available here?
Add
user to group, copy
Add
permission
user
from
to
existing
group.
user,
Add user to group, copy permissions from existing user, attach existing policies directly. Attach existing policies directly. Okay. Always it is recommended to add the users to the group and to provide the permissions for the group. Okay. Attach existing policies directly. What is the meaning of attach existing policies directly?
Those are the predefined policies given by the AWS. We can create
AWS.
also custom policies if you want.
Right. So there are some predefined policies given by the AWS. We can provide these policies for the people. Okay. I want to provide a policy for S3 buckets. How can I check it? S3. So related to S3, what policies are available, guys? Can you see what policies are available for S3? What policies are available for S3?
RDF.
S3, man. S3.
Sorry, sir.
See full access.
S3 full access is available or not?
Yes, sir.
S3 full access is available for that user. Now, giving S3 full access means what?
Giving all
Giving
the
S3 full access means what?
Read, write, delete,
write,
all.
delete.
We are giving all the permissions for the S3. Okay. Whenever we give the full access, that means that person can do everything in the S3. That person can do everything in the S3. That is full access. So now this is my custom policy or this is the existing policy in the AWS.
Existing policy.
Existing policy in the AWS. Now that person will have complete access on the S3 buckets. Okay. But my requirement is I don't want to give complete access on the S3. I want to give only read access for my buckets. That's it. I want to give only read access for my bucket. Do we have a policy for that?
Yes,
Yes,
we have.
read only access.
Yes, we have.
Amazon read only access. Okay. Now, if I give read only access, can he read all the buckets in the S3?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, I want to provide the permission to read only one bucket. Only particular bucket he can read. Other buckets he cannot read. Do you have any permission for that?
Yes, sir.
Do we have any policy for that?
No,
Read
we don't
only.
have freedom.
Read only a bucket whose name is data. Excel files. There is a bucket called Excel files bucket. I have stored all the Excel files in that bucket. Now I have 10 buckets in my S3. This IAM user should read only the bucket name is Excel. Remaining buckets he should not be able to read that. Can I define that policy with the predefined policies available here?
No. We
No,
need to create
then
custom policy.
we need to create a custom policy. For example, I want to provide easy to access for a user. Now, what I will do here? Easy to full access is available or not? Easy to full access is available or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
But I don't want to give easy to full access for that user. That user should have a permission for only stop the instance, start the instance. That's it. Generally, if I give full access, can he delete the instance also?
Yes, sir. Maybe.
Yes.
Yes, if I give the full access, he can delete the instance also. If he delete the instance, what is the problem?
We lost everything.
We lost everything. Now fresher is available. For fresher, I cannot give that full access. For fresher, I want to give permission only to stop the instance, start the instance, but he should not be able to delete my instance. He should not be able to delete my instance. I want to provide only read access, and restart the instance, stop the instance and start the instance. Do we have any policy to achieve that? Do we have any policy to achieve that?
We need to
Yes.
create custom policy.
Do we have the policy for only restart?
No.
No. Then what should we do?
We have to
Create
Create
custom
my-
policy.
We have to create a custom policy. Now, whenever we are creating the IAM accounts, we need to specify the policies. Could you please tell me what is the purpose of a policy? Policy will define what that user can do in the AWS. What that user, what resource he can access and what operation he can perform on the resource in the AWS, we will define by using policies. There are so many policies are available in the AWS. So now, total how many policies are available in the AWS, guys?
746.
Total 746 policies are available in the AWS. Now, for example, when I give S3, for S3, how many policies are available? 9 policies are available. When I select Amazon S3 full access policy, if you expand this button, can you see what is added for that user? Now, here if you see JSON, the policies can be configured in the form of JSON like this: version, statement, effect, allow, action, S3 star. What is the meaning of S3 star?
All.
Full access. S3 star means full access. In S3, which resource he can access?
All resource.
All star.
resource.
Right. Now, this policy we have created, or AWS generated the policy. AWS generated the policy. Okay. Now, I want to define fine-grained policies for the IAM users. I don't want to go with the predefined policies. I want to go with very clear policies, guys. Then what option we have? What option we have? Create policy. Now tell me, when you will go for create policy option? When your requirement is not satisfied with the predefined policies, then you will go for a create policy. Can we create a policy for the user now?
Yes, sir.
For Naveen, can we create a policy now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, click on create policy. Click on create policy. How many ways we can create the policy? Let's see. How many ways we can create the policy?
2 ways.
2 ways.
What are the 2 ways?
Either JSON or Visual Editor.
If you know how to write the JSON file for the policy, you can write the JSON. But everybody may not be comfortable with the JSON. That's why AWS has given 2 options. You can create the policy using Visual Editor, or you can write a JSON for the policy also. Go for Visual Editor. Choose a service. For which service you want to provide the policies for that user? I want to provide the policy for S3. Choose the S3. choose the S3. Now, can you see, are we getting some options here?
Yes, sir.
Now, can you do all S3 actions?
No.
No, I don't want to give the S3 bucket full access. What I want to do is list access points, list bucket. What is the meaning of this list bucket?
Just to show the bucket.
He can only see the buckets available in the S3. Can he upload any data?
No.
Can he download any data?
No.
This is, can I say this is my custom policy now?
Yes.
Yes.
This is my custom policy list bucket. Now, can you see, whenever you select a policy here, corresponding JSON file will be generated for that. Whenever you select a policy, now click on next tag, next tags, click on next tag. One warning, what is that?
I think we need to give the
Policy
resource.
contains error, you are required to choose a resource. Okay. If I select this list bucket, what resource, where the resource?
AR and resource, I think so. In the down.
1 second. Resource, yeah. Specific resource, add ARN to restrict access. Bucket name, any bucket, whatever the bucket that is available, then I'm giving the access for the bucket, any bucket. Click on next tag. Now come to previous. Now see, can you see the JSON? Is the JSON generated for that?
Yes, sir.
Do we need to write the JSON, or JSON is automatically generated by the AWS? Automatically generated by the AWS. Now, by using visual editor, I'm customizing the policies for my IAM user. This is called custom policy creation. Service, I have chosen service as S3. Inside the S3, I have selected one access level as list bucket. That means for whom I am creating the account, that user can just read the buckets available in the AWS. Can read the buckets available in the AWS. He cannot do anything else. Click on next tag. Click on next review. Next review. Now review policy. Review policy. Give the name as S3 list bucket. This is my policy name. S3 list bucket. Click on create policy. Click on create policy. Now S3 list bucket policy has been created. Now when I am creating a new user, can I choose my policy also? Now who is managing this policy? AWS is managing my policy or customer managed policy?
Customer.
There are two types of policies, guys. There are some predefined policies are available which will be managed by the AWS. Based on the requirement, you can create the policy and you can manage. AWS is having S3 full access policy. I don't want to give the full access for the Naveen. Naveen is my IAM user. Naveen is a fresher in my team. Naveen should only read the buckets in the S3. He cannot update, he cannot delete, he cannot download. He just need to read the data. For that, there is no predefined policy available. That's why I'm writing a custom policy for the Naveen. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Now go to users.
No.
Now click on users. No users to display. Here we are still in the policy access, add user, add existing policy. Now what is the policy which is created?
S3.
Yes, 3. Where is our custom policy?
Refresh.
Maybe refresh. Now,
Last one.
did I get my custom policy now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. I am in the middle of user creation. I created a custom policy. Now I have selected that policy. Click on next. Now click on review. Now, what are the policies this Naveen user is having? S3 list bucket. S3 list bucket matlab, he can only read the buckets available in the S3. And why IAM user change password? What is the meaning of IAM user change password?
When you log in,
When he log in, he should change his password. Guys, now do you understand how to create a custom policies for IAM accounts?
yes, sir.
So
Yes.
very good. Yes, we are able to understand how to create the custom policy for the IAM account. Now go to this URL. This is IAM user URL. Now, if you want to log in into IAM account ID is mandatory or not?
Yes, sir.
Account ID is mandatory. Now, this is my username. This is my user password. Click on sign in. Authentication information is incorrect. Okay. Oh, what happened immediately when I log in?
Asking for password change.
Asking for password change because I have added that policy. I'm adding that policy. Confirm password change. Now I'm changing the password for this IAM user. So guys, now from now onwards, what is the best practice? Practice the AWS services from the root account or practice the AWS services from the IAM accounts? We should never use the root account to do the practices, guys, because root account is very powerful account. Root account is very powerful account. So use the root account only to create the IAM user. From next time, we need to do all the operations by using IAM accounts. Now I logged in into Naveen account. What policy that Naveen is having in the AWS?
S3.
S3. Can he do anything in the S3?
No, sir, only read.
Now go to S3, but go to S3. Go to S3. Naveen is the user. He's having S3 policy. Oh, you don't have a permission to list a bucket. I think it will take some time to add that permission for identity and access management in the right. Now try to go to buckets, Amazon S3, Amazon S3. Can he create a bucket now?
No, sir.
Can he create the bucket in the S3? If he try to create, it is not going to accept because he don't have that permission. He don't have that permission. So can we define specific permissions for the users according to our requirement?
Yes, sir.
We can specify specific permissions for the users according to our requirement by using IAM accounts. Okay. So today we understood what is multi-factor authentication and how to create custom policies for IAM accounts. So with this, we can say that we know IAM in the AWS.
Yes, sir.
Now, guys, in the AWS, IAM is the free service. Do we need to pay anything for the IAM?
No, sir.
No, it is just for controlling the permissions of our AWS account users. So IAM is completely free. You can define groups, you can create the users, you can create the policies, you can add the users to the group, you can define the policies for the groups also. How your team should work on the AWS cloud, but you manage by using IAM accounts. We will create the IAM accounts from the root account. Root account is a powerful account. Root account will have the access for everything in the AWS. Okay. 200 plus services available in the AWS. Root account will have permission for all those services. That's why it is not at all recommended to use the root account directly. It is not at all recommended to give root credentials to the team members. In order to provide additional security for the root account, we are using multi-factor authentication by using virtual device with Google Authenticator. Then we are creating IAM accounts. There are almost 700 plus policies are available in the IAM for the users. If you are not satisfied with any policy available, all the policies available in the AWS, then you can construct your own policy. How many ways we can create a policy in the AWS, guys?
Two ways.
Two ways. One is by using Visual Editor. Another one is by using JSON. If you use Visual Editor also internally, it is converting that to JSON only to create the policies in the AWS. Very good. Fine. So with this, can you practice creating a custom policy and attach to the user? And can you check user is having that access or not?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Tomorrow, we are going to understand a concept called CloudWatch concept, guys. Tomorrow, we'll start with a concept called CloudWatch concept. Thank you. I will see you in the tomorrow session.
Good night, sir.
Good night, sir. Good night.
Good night.